XRP holders, I have some very shocking news to really kind of talk about when it comes to some of the biggest players out there. For an example, Bank of America. We have been hearing about Bank of America for many years now, since going all the way back to about roughly 2018, 2019. And even today, they are still one of the biggest banks out there. They're in the top 4, right? And on top of that, they're still waiting on the sidelines for something significant. And it feels as though we are on the cusp of that significant event actually happening. And we must talk about this, especially with some of the information that we just got our hands on. So with that being said, welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's dive on into this post here from John E. D-in-1. We have Ripple didn't prioritize going public because that really didn't make any sense under the previous SEC administration. Maybe that changes in the future. And this is from Brad Garlinghouse. Quote, I've already stated that I believe that we see a Ripple IPO either in the last quarter of 2025 or the first quarter of 2026. The timing depends on how aggressive Paul Atkins is as SEC chairman. I predict the appeal gets withdrawn, Ripple pays the fine, and the case is over. If Atkins is confirmed quickly, this could happen in the first quarter, but because Washington moves slowly, it will likely happen in the second quarter. Why the appeal will be withdrawn? It makes no sense for the SEC to appeal the Ripple decision. Appealing that can only bring bad news for the SEC as an institution. The only reason the SEC appealed is because people pushing for appeal, Gensler and his minion team, got their prima donna feelings hurt by getting their butts kicked by Ripple and the 75,000 XRP holders. The appeal makes no sense for several reasons. Number one, the Torres decision is a federal district court ruling and is not binding precedent. Number two, the Ripple ruling has very low persuasive precedent implications. In fact, Judge Rakoff, a fellow district judge in the same district, SDNY, has already distinguished and criticized it. Several legal scholars as well, and other experienced intelligence securities lawyers have criticized it as well. Even experienced financial journalists have criticized the decision. Number three, Judge Torres made her ruling very fact-specific and thus only applicable of the facts in the Ripple case. Therefore, the decision itself has very limited persuasive use. Moreover, in her decision denying an interlocutory appeal, Judge Torres made clear that her decision did not rule that all secondary market sales of digital assets could never constitute the sales of securities. She ruled that the evidence or lack thereof presented by the SEC in the Ripple case related to secondary sales of XRP did not satisfy the Howey test. Period. She went on to say that there are circumstances that could exist, such as a mass marketing campaign related to a crypto asset. This is like with Luna and Do Kwon, for an example, that could satisfy Howey. Now, number four, in her opinion, Judge Torres did not apply all Howey factors. Her decision only applied the third factor, and she ruled the SEC failed to prove XRP purchases relied on Ripple or its executives. She explicitly stated that since all Howey factors must be satisfied, there was no need to apply the other factors. In my opinion, under Second Circuit law, the common enterprise factor of the Howey test is much weaker for the SEC to establish than the third factor, which Torres said they did not satisfy. Thus, even if the SEC won at the Second Circuit, which I don't believe it will, the case would be remanded to Judge Torres, and she would then apply the other Howey factors and likely rule the SEC failed to prove a common enterprise related to secondary market sales. If so, we would get the same result we have today. And last but not least, number five, if Ripple lost at the Second Circuit, they would apply for certiorari to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court takes cases that involve significant legal questions or where there are conflicting decisions among different circuit courts, Rakoff ruling versus Torres ruling, for example. Since in this case, the ruling would have broad legal significance, and considering digital assets have become so prominent, and we're talking about 1930s laws being applied to modern day technologies, there is a real good chance the Supreme Court takes the case. at the Supreme Court, the SEC could lose big. Hence my point, appealing the Ripple ruling is a fool's errand, and I think Paul Atkins will see it that way. Now, you also see why I called these unelected bureaucrats prima donnas. Now, outside of this, this is all in response to this video by Brad Garlinghouse, which is in response to the Ripple IPO, the Ripple valuation. This got posted by Digital Asset Buy. I've been watching Brad Garlinghouse interviews for a long time. Often you could tell when he's dying to say the quiet part out loud, but can't because the CEO in him holds him back. Completely understandable. My gut says this is one of those times, and my gut is right 99.9% of the time. Check this out.
So, look, I don't think about it as a kind of there's up to the minute valuation stuff. But I think it's safe to assume that the 11 billion is very outdated at this point. The total value of the XRP we own now exceeds 100 billion. And that is, another mark. One of the things I don't know how to get my head around exactly is, the way that Ripple has traded in the secondary private markets has been at a significant discount to net asset value. Some would say MicroStrategy is comparable in some ways, but trades at I think 3x premium to net asset value. And you think, that's interesting. Again, I'm not anti MicroStrategy. I hope is a massive success and keeps doing what they're doing. And look, Ripple has been in a position where we have not prioritized going public. That didn't really make any sense in the previous SEC administration. Maybe that changes in the future, and we'll evaluate that as things unfold.
So yeah, I mean, listen, it seems as though he's really itching to just say, hey, listen, it's going to be happening. It's going to be happening. I feel like Brad is, at this current moment in time, extremely excited about what's about to happen. Why? Well, because it feels as though the case is about to wrap up. I actually do believe that we are about to see the entire show wrap up, and what's going to happen after is nothing but incredible moves being made to allow Ripple and even XRP to prosper in a large way. For an example, over here from attorney Jeremy Hogan, everything I've said about the Ripple lawsuit for the last 4 years, the hours and hours of videos, analysis, post, research, never mind. Because, again, this is Brad and Stuart Alradi meeting with Donald Trump. I told you guys about this already. And on top of this, we have from Johnny Dean how it began. Had to take a picture in front of the SEC Gov building while in town. In case you're wondering, no, Chair Gensler did not invite us in. And here we have, the picture outside of the SEC. How it ended. And this is from Johnny Dean. Because it feels as though, this case is basically done. It feels as though this case is going to be put behind us after the 20th. Now, why is this so important? And why did I bring up, big names like Bank of America, for an example? Well, because if we go over here to July 17th of 2023, Ripple says U.S. banks will want to use XRP cryptocurrency after partial victory in SEC fight. This goes back to 2023, mind you. Now, they said U.S. banks specific. It wasn't just banks around the world. It was U.S. banks. This is very interesting, okay? This is very interesting because what U.S. banks could they be talking about? Well, we know that Bank of America has a patent for settlement system citing Ripple going all the way back to 2019. We also know that Ripple has hired former Bank of America executives as head of regulatory affairs in the U.S. back in 2019. And we also know back in November of 2022, Bank of America to partner with Ripple for on-demand liquidity services after XRP lawsuit finishes. So now we have to talk about Bank of America in a big way because it feels as though this case is about to wrap up. And what does that mean for Bank of America? What does that mean for XRP? What we also have over here sounds like the lock is coming off the floodgates. This is from XRP Yoda. Check this out. This is on Fox Business, mind you.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them. And basically, the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it. And there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out. So
the cynics, though, tell me, only put as much in this space as you're willing to lose. Effectively, as of now, some people say it feels like a casino. Do you agree with that?
It's the best example I have is this. Don't not get involved with something. Do whatever you would do for a nice weekend away with your spouse.
Okay.
And instead of doing that weekend, maybe put that in crypto. Here's what I'll tell you, 3 to 5 years from now, you either made some real money or you just lost one weekend together. Not a big deal.
I know, but I could have had that vacation.
You could have had the vacation or you made your retirement.
Well said. Okay, maybe that's a better.
And, you know, he is 100% correct on this, right? Because this space over the next couple years is going to grow substantially. Now, this is an individual from Sound Planning Group. They are aware of how big of an opportunity we are being presented with in front of us. And, you know, to me, for him to say 100% of Bank of America's internal transactions were settled with XRP, that is a very substantial statement. That's a very substantial statement, and it's kind of funny because it makes sense. But on top of that, right, it's not just Bank of America, though. It's all US-based banks. Like, these are major US banks that could potentially use XRP. And when we go back to the documents, right, we go back to even the lawsuit documents. Here we have the document that actually said that Ripple had institutional sales involved with more than 1,700 relevant contracts. What are these 1,700 contracts? This is probably the most fascinating aspect of XRP plus Ripple that we still don't know. Are these 1,700 institutions that want to hold XRP? If so, why? And why buy from Ripple directly? And what are the terms of the contract? Clarity on this would reveal a lot, and we have no idea. We have no idea how many NDAs are in place. We don't know what's going on. All we know is that look at all the bank IDs tied right back to Ripple. I mean, these are massive banks, major US banks. You have JP Morgan on here. You have Bank of America. You have Citi. You have every single major US bank. I mean, listen, this goes by jurisdictions. You guys can see this. These are all US-based banks, right? And it's crazy to me because if we're thinking about all of the names tied back to Ripple, people don't realize how, well connected Ripple already is. We have over here, Ripple has confirmed themselves that they have over 500 partners. This is an accurate figure, documented. Here we have some of the Ripple partners, some major banks, fintechs, etc. But when we think about how big Ripple really is, I think that we might be overlooking a lot. And with this lawsuit wrapping up, I think that we're going to uncover a lot of what we don't know. Because this lawsuit is going to open up a major door. And behind that door is going to be a lot of the information that has been gatekept, or in this case, gatekept from us for so long. And I'm very excited to see what happens here. But it feels as though the case is wrapping up. It feels as though everything is aligning perfectly for Ripple. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.